All right, how do we describe this video? So basically, guys, for this video, I decided to draw poses, and what it's going to be is like I pick a character that I want to draw, and usually it like helps me learn more about the character. It helps me like make the design better, you know, because if I'm coming up with a character and I have like an idea already, or if like it's a character I've already done, I like to draw it and I don't know, get better at drawing the character is like one reason, and also maybe make some improvements here and down the way, right? So for this video, I chose Ponafina. And I've been drawing Ponafina for a while now, right? Like I've been drawing it. It's been here and there, like you've been able to see it maybe. But for this one, we're gonna draw it. In this video, you're gonna see it be drawn. It's gonna be like 4 times, basically, like 4 times. And I think I want to go to 3. I think I want to like dial it down to 3 in the future. But for now, this one's gonna have 4. To start off, for the first pose, what can I say? This first pose is basically like. It's kind of like a confidence pose, right? So as you can see, to start off, like what I did here was like pretty much map out what it's supposed to look like, you know, pretty much like grab, I guess, like, I don't know, I made some simple shapes because I was like, I want to capture what this looks like. And I guess the first stages of like these poses are basically going to be simple. It's not going to be like perfect. It's not going to be anything crazy. You're just going to see like a bunch of scribbles that kind of map out what I'm trying to look for, right? So for this first one, it's a confidence pose. Basically, in the world, if like, because like this is going to be like part of like a, it's like, it's going to have like a world and everything, like a whole bunch of creatures. It's going to be cool. So, but for, in this world, basically, if like there's, if there are characters that have this, this creature, Ponafina, and they're not, I guess they're not necessarily on the protagonist side, right? Like if they're like an antagonist in the story or whatever, this is kind of like a pose that I guess that Ponafina would have, because maybe Ponafina's not with like the best, the most, what can you say? Kindest character, right? Like it's this character, is probably not up to the most amazing things, if you could say. So I guess Ponafina being with this character would probably be like have like an influence on how like Ponafina acts and the behavior it has. And I would imagine that it's like it's got like some kind of confidence pose slash a not protagonist looking kind of thing, right? So basically this is what we've got. We basically have this little scribble here. From there on, I went on to this one, which basically this one is a different pose. Now, if you remember, the last one was like a confidence pose, right? This is different. So like Ponafina is more of like a character that would be like on the positive side, right? Like a character that is adorable, fun, energetic, and kind. Likes to be kind. You don't really see it. I wouldn't say that it like enjoys fighting too much. Maybe some of them do, but like I would say that it's more of like a happy character, like more of like it likes to run around and be happy. It's like a horse, right? It's just like it's a little water horse basically. So this pose here is completely different. It goes from confidence, like, well, no, we it's the opposite, I guess, or like very what can you say? Away from the confidence, right? Like it's not if confidence is like one thing, this is probably not close to confidence, right? It's actually okay. So for this one, it's basically like it's in a box. It's in a box, and it's one of those things where like okay, how do I say this? All right, so for this one, the character ended up for this pose, it ends up being in a box, and I don't know. The box can like mean all sorts of things, right? But like, maybe an idea that could come across here is like the thought of like being abandoned, or something that like maybe it's like a rainy day and that's all like and that's where it is, or something like that. Like, you know, there really is no one, I guess, reason as to why it's in the box, but this is again, to capture like, I guess, an emotion or something like that. I thought it was different, so I was like, hey, let me go for this one, right? And yeah, it starts off being a little, oh wow, what is going on here? Yeah, basically what happens here is Ponafina's in a box, and it's got some sort of like an abandoned or sad kind of emotion kind of thing. So it's not necessarily in like the happiest mood. It's more of like, hey, this is not a fun time, kind of, basically. Like this is like a sad moment, right? So the box is there, and it's looking towards forward, and yeah, and I guess like the hair would probably go towards the back. So that's this one, and then from there, it's okay. All right, so the third one is a little more of a confidence pose, right? So back to the confidence pose, but it's not necessarily just a confidence pose. It's also like, what can you say? Like a power pose, right? Like we can call it a power pose, where it's like staring up, and it's like making, I don't know if it's like, what do horses do whenever they like make a sound? They say neighing, right? Neighing, I don't know. But I don't know if yelling is the right word, but like it's something like that, where it's like neighing or yelling, but it's like it feels powerful, and it's trying to like show that it's powerful, and it's trying to like act powerful, and it's standing pretty much like upright, but like, you know, a little bit like more of like, yeah, it's more like a power pose. So that's this pose basically. I mean, right off the bat, you can kind of, it does look like it's more of like a sleeping pose, but it's not necessarily a sleeping pose. There's something there, and I mean, honestly, the original thing that I was paying attention to, trying to like draw this, was like a flower, right? Like it was like sniffing a flower, but to me, this more looks like that Ponafina is drinking water. Like there's like a lake there, and it's just drinking water. I mean, that's kind of what I think of when I see this pose, but it's more of like a calm, relaxed, drinking water kind of pose. And it's cool because, like, you know, it's like kneeling down, or like its head is going towards like the ground, and you can kind of see like the back of it a little bit, and it's just a different pose that I don't usually do. So it's fun to see different poses. Okay, so now from the fourth one, we can go back to the first one, and we can kind of see how the first one goes. So for the first one, we went back, and pretty much it's starting to get better, right? We can kind of see that like things are coming together. You can kind of see like the confidence there. Like, remember I was telling you about how like this is more of like an antagonist, kind of like whoever owns this particular Ponafina is like someone that isn't like the protagonist. It's basically like that. You can kind of see it. It's coming together. It is more like, it's a confident pose. It's like, imagine if like the person behind this this particular Ponafina was like, I don't know, maybe he was like, he is the antagonist, and maybe like the guy that like is with this Ponafina would be like, I don't know, Ponafina would be like, I think trusting. It probably is trusting to the character that's behind. Like, you would imagine that Ponafina's been with this character for a while, and basically his sort of behaviors and ideas would kind of like influence how Ponafina behaves. So if Ponafina is acting this way, it's probably because it has a lot of trust in whoever that other character is, and it's pretty much like okay, like it's not okay, but it's like Ponafina's like been with this character for a while, and it just like, I guess, trusts them and kind of acts similar to how this other guy acts. Does that make sense? I think, yeah. So this is we can call this like stage 2 of the pose. Basically, this is where I continued, and it's not perfect, but I did more scribbles to figure out what the details were, right? This second one this is where it is. You can kind of see how it looks a little sad. There is the box over there. I don't know. To be honest, I guess I was just drawing like the character. I have like a hard time drawing background stuff and like things that aren't like the actual character. Like my strength, my like happy time, I guess you could say, is drawing like the character, not necessarily like the background or anything like that. So I did draw what looked like to be a box, but I didn't actually like draw the box completely, I guess you could say. Like, it's just the idea, as long as the idea is there. And it's sad. That's pretty much what we're going for. It's like worried, sad, I don't know, like well, actually, yeah, I guess I do a little bit. Like it's sort of like an abandoned kind of theme going on there. For this one, we could see that it is standing towards the top a little bit, like upright. The chest is out, and it's like, yeah, I'm strong, right? Like, woo, right? Like powerful. That's kind of what it is trying to look like. I wouldn't say that Ponafina is a weak character. Like, it's not like it's just doing this because it wants to like exercise, I guess, its power and how strong it is, right? But I'm sure that there's other things that are stronger. It's just this is probably like its attempt to appear strong and to feel strong, and I guess that's pretty cool. You know, you stand a certain way, and then you yell out, and you're like, "Woo, strong!" or "Rawr," right? Let's see. So this one comes together a little bit more. Now, for this one, the hair was flowing a little bit. What I like about this one is like the hair flows in a certain way that like you can kind of just see like the hair calmly flowing, and it's a different angle of how you can see the hair flow, which is why I guess it was a lot more fun to do this. This one was a lot of fun in terms of like trying to figure out where the hair would go, but it is sort of like looking like it's drinking water, so that's pretty cool. It really comes together, actually, if you really think about it. Look at that. Okay, so let's see. The hair was a little, I think I spent a lot of time on the hair, actually. I did. But, I mean, like, the face it's giving off, like, you could definitely, like, it definitely feels like, that this is, a different sort of behavior, a different sort of, like, way of carrying yourself, I guess you can say. But this is pretty much closer to like the final thing. Some of the details are like pretty mapped out. It's still a little, you know, like scratchy, I guess you can say, but it does like sort of like paint the picture of what it's going for. And I don't know, there might be like some sort of elegance here, but at the same time confidence, but not in the protagonist side, which is like which is not necessarily common, I guess would be the thing, but this is like, I guess this is that, right? Okay, so for the second one, I don't know. This one's a little different, guys, because when I was trying to do this one's like, what can I say? There isn't much to draw here. It's in a box. So it's like the hair is flowing, but it flows in such a way that it's like hard to like figure out what's going on towards the back. You kind of just have like the front facing you, right? So it's a little different, but it might have been like my least favorite thing to go back to, only because like it was just a weirder angle, right? But it actually is pretty good to do this, I guess, because you're able to figure out what it looks like in different kinds of angles, and this is one of the angles that I guess I would try to have to figure it out, right? But you can see a lot is covered by that hair, I guess you can say, and, well, it's just facing forward. Okay, so for stage 3 on the third one, this one basically has changed a bit, huh? Like the head got bigger. Like, you know, I was trying to make this, initially when I was drawing it, like, I liked how it was looking, but I feel like the legs were a little too long, and like the body was a little bit too long. Like, I had to like resize it, right? But this is kind of like what it would look like, I guess, size-wise, right? Hopefully. It's still doing that whole power pose kind of thing, and it's like neighing or yelling, like, and it's trying to like appear strong, and it's like facing up a little bit, and like the hair is just flowing a bit. But yeah, I think that like the other ones, I guess it is coming a little bit more together. This was pretty much like changed a bit because, you know, sizing, right? Like I was trying to figure out sizing. I'm like, oh no, this is too long. So then I guess I ended up changing it. And then from there, for this one, I think that the hair flip was pretty much like established there. Like I was able to like, I don't know. It gets less scratchy and a little bit more detailed in these third poses, these third stages, I guess you can say. The hair flows in a way that it's supposed to flow like water, you know? That's kind of what it's supposed to do. So like when you think about Ponafina doesn't necessarily have like a shape to its hair too much. Like it does have some sort of shape, but not like a perfect shape that stays like all the time. It's more of like hair that just flows like water, even though like it's hair, right? But it's like flowing like if it's water, that's kind of like what it does. And it really does look like it's drinking water, which is cool because I think water's awesome. Okay, let's go back to the first one. I think that this one is sort of like opposite to what Ponafina would look like or act like. It's definitely a different take on the emotion and behavior that it would normally be, but it does capture what it would look like, I suppose, if it was a different character had it, I guess you could say. And yeah, I think that the interesting part about that is, again, drawing different poses helps you figure out different things about the character, and this is probably what it would look like if if it wasn't the protagonist that had this character and it was someone else, someone in particular that isn't the protagonist but maybe going against the protagonist. And great, so then that's the first one. And then the second one, we're at this one. Okay, so it does look abandoned, which is sad, right? It's so sad. But that's actually what the pose was, is some not necessarily like but like that's where the pose had like this sort of this vibe to it, I guess. Not necessarily that it was abandoned, but it was like it had to do with a box. So the box made me think, yeah, I guess like sadness kind of thing, because it's a box, you know. It's not necessarily something that's like a box isn't a nice house. It's not a nice little house thingy, or it's not a chair. It's a box and it's full of junk, except I didn't draw the junk. So there it is. It's it looks sad and it makes sense, you know. But I think that it was a little difficult to draw this one in particular, because this one is like, I don't know, it's such a weird angle. It's like the hair's covering a lot and it feels like nothing really, not too much is going on back there, but it's just being covered. That's pretty much what it is. So then we move on to the third one. Let's do that. Move on to the third one. And the third one, okay, it's neighing or being loud, right? It's trying to be powerful. I don't know. I think that I think I could have done this one better, but you know, that's probably the case with like many of them. And it really just, I think after spending so much time, you probably like, you know, you can get that sort of feeling. But I think it was okay. I think that it pretty much, it's trying to look powerful, and that's pretty much what it does, right? That's what it looks like. This could be good if like if it wants to look powerful around others, I guess you could say. So there's that. And then the final one is this one. Okay, so I let the hair cover like the bubble. You know, one thing I can say about this is it's kind of difficult to figure out when the bubble covers the hair and where it doesn't, because the bubble is water, right? It's like a water bubble. But I think that as I was doing this, I was covering I was actually drawing the bubble, but it didn't make sense because like the bubble would be like around like pretty much over like the head a little bit, and it didn't make sense that the hair would be like not covering that. So I don't know, this is something I would have to figure out with like the character itself, when that hair gets covered by like the bubble collar of water that's there. But I just decided to leave like the hair the way it was, because I was like, you know what, this is fine. Like maybe I'll figure it out by just trying different things. But I think that this actually looks good, like because like the hair is like above everything pretty much there, so it makes sense that it would cover it. But the hair flippy looks awesome, and it just looks like it's drinking water. And there we go. So those were the 4 poses. I think that I'm going to go back to 3 poses. It just seems like it takes less longer, and it feels more doable and more fun that way. And I think that maybe it would, I just think it's more fun and less tasking, I guess you can say. But these were the 4 poses basically for this video. And let me know if which one you thought was more which one came out better, I guess is the best way to ask that. I hope that this was fun in some way, shape, or form. And I guess until the next pose video. Thanks so much, guys. Take care. Oh, how about I tell you which one was my favorite, actually? I think that my favorite was probably, let's see. Is it this one? No. This one? No. You know what? I think it was this one. I like how, what do you call it? Is elegant the word? It does look elegant. It looks like it's calm and like peaceful. I think that this ended up being my favorite just because of like the emotion and like the vibe it gives off, but that's, yeah, it's just, it looks calm and it's nice. and fun, peaceful. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Take care, and until the next pose video. Bye, guys.